Language is one of the most wonderful of all of humanity's creations. Language was made not only so that we could try to make sense of this world we found ourselves in. Language was made so that we could shape the world around us. Language was made so that we could create and nurture relationships between one another. It's how we form order within a society. But language also creates barriers. Barriers from one group to another. And these barriers that aren't real manifest themselves into physical representations that end up being borders. And these borders block groups from interacting with one another, cooperating. Without language, though, there wouldn't be this building. There wouldn't be this government. You wouldn't be here right now. Language created all of this. Now, every single one of us here was born into a language. Some of us are lucky enough to have been born into a few. Myself, I was born into the English language. That one with the weird grammar rules, and depending on which side of the Atlantic Ocean you're born on, you spell the word color differently. But I always wanted to learn another language. And so, with my ancestry being primarily of German people, I had this desire to learn German, the language of my ancestors. So, going into high school, I was excited. I was so excited to be able to learn German. But when it came to my 8th grade year, my school district put forth a referendum. This referendum ended up cutting a lot of arts and after-school sports programs. It also ended up cutting French and German being taught in schools. I was devastated. But I was still determined to learn another language, another spoken language. And there was only one option for me: Espanol. I loved it. I ended up taking all 4 years of Spanish in high school, and it was one of the best experiences I could have ever had. I had some of the most passionate teachers who cared about their work, who cared about their students, and none more so than somebody I will refer to as Maestra. That's what she made us call her. Now, Maestra came here from Mexico. She was born there, but came here and started teaching Spanish in my hometown. She got married here. She met her husband here. She had 3 kids here. And she ended up becoming a naturalized citizen. Now, you can assume that she loves America, because in order to become a citizen, you kind of have to like the place. But what was more apparent and evident in her lectures and classes was that she loved teaching. She was the class I was most excited for every single day. I mean, even on the days when I forgot to do my homework, I would love showing up to Maestra's class and just learning the language. She taught me to love learning Spanish. Not my first choice, but my second, my third. Now, through my school's Spanish program, I had the opportunity to go to a Spanish-speaking nation and learn the culture and the country and history firsthand in a foreign language. That was just an awesome opportunity I couldn't pass up. And I couldn't have been more privileged to be a part of the group that got to go to Spain. I never left northern Minnesota. Hell, I'd never left any part of the United States other than Minnesota. So the opportunity to leave the country, to leave the continent, I jumped on that. I ran over to my parents. I pleaded to them, please let me go. And after fundraising enough money, I was on my way to Spain on my junior year's spring break of high school. And I was on there with 20 some odd other teenagers and 4 adult chaperones, including Maestra. Now, if you've never gone to another country, I couldn't recommend it more. It is so amazing to be able to see another country and another culture up close and personal. and not just in the pages of a textbook. I'll hopefully never forget my trip to Spain, but there is one point in the trip that I can't forget. Now, we were on our way back to the States in the airport in Spain. My group was going through customs, and out of nowhere, a few individuals came over and beckoned Maestra closer to them. So she got out of the group, and they started asking them questions, and they ended up saying, hey, this is the wrong line for you. You need to be over on this line, specifically for Spanish people coming to the States. Now, I couldn't hear exactly everything that was going on, but a few phrases stuck out. Like, I'm a teacher, and these are my students. These phrases were in plain English, but still, these people, these individuals who took her away from us, couldn't understand. They were confused. At this point, Maestra's husband, a very tall white guy, walked over to them and started asking about what was going on, explaining to them the situation, talking about their passports, showing papers. And after a few minutes, she rejoined the group, and she was frazzled. Her husband, Blanco, as she called him, was basically draped over her, just trying to console her. And to those of us who watched what transpired, we were confused. I finally realized that this was what profiling was. This is the world we live in, not small town Minnesota, but a world that judges you based on whether you look or are different from the group. It judges you without knowing anything about you, other than what you look like. Now, this happened this past week even to one of, debatably, the 20th century's most patriotic citizens' sons, Muhammad Ali's son. He was coming back to America, I believe from Jamaica, and he was stopped because his name was different. And they asked him if he was Muslim. He was, so they further questioned him. It took him a little while, but he was still, questioning why he was stopped, just because of his name, just because he sounded Muslim. America is an amalgamation of people of different backgrounds, different belief system, different skin colors, education and wage levels. America, it's a beacon of hope to all those who are not in our country. It is a beacon of freedom. Freedom to be, do, and say whatever one so desires. That is the beauty of our nation. But language creates barriers. It creates these borders that impede us from getting to the other side, from actually interacting with one another. Language builds walls. But it is also through language that we can tear down these walls, that we can step over them, that we can connecting with one another to create a world that is more together, that allows us to work together. I believe that though language has created these barriers in our society, it is only through language that we can tear them down. Thank you.